congratulations, first off. Great February coming into March with a lot of projects for you. How did you get involved in this particular project?
I chased it, to be honest. It was, you try and pick your shots with Marvel because they're going to remember you anytime you come in. And about 10 years earlier, I'd pitched a character. I wanted to do a character, Deathlock, who's a great character they have, and didn't get that one. And I waited. And when I heard that there was going to be knowing what the journey was going to be for Sam Wilson,
Mhm.
I fought to get it. I cut a lot of people.
So let's talk about Sam's journey that he's going to take throughout this. One of the things that I loved when I was reading about this is that in your pitch, you wanted to make sure to explore Sam not only as a Black man in America, but man potentially stepping into Captain America's role. Talk to me about your inspiration for that and how you kind of crafted the story around that aspect.
It was, to me, it was just a huge opportunity to deal with like the idea of creating these Black icons that the whole world can look up to, not just Black folk, is crucial. And because his journey is unique, because he's not T'Challa, he's not African, he's Black, he's African American, and the Stars and Stripes is just a screaming symbol for anybody Black. And I just knew, like, if they let me get a shot to tap into what that ambivalence would feel like, it would create an awesome character. And I was super vocal about that from when I first came in. And the exec who sort of guided me through this process, Nate Moore, is a Black man. Our writers' room was almost all Black, and it just felt extremely relevant to me. And it's way better to create when you believe you're doing something that has a deeper purpose. You can't always have that, but when you do, and that was what excited me, and that's why I fought so hard to get it.
So bringing this world together from Marvel, from the screen to television, what was that process like for you, and how did the action component play into your vision for these two forces coming together?
It's an immense amount of pressure because Kevin had a mandate that this had to feel like, each episode had to feel like a movie. And from a storytelling perspective, movies move at a different rate than serialized TV does. So we had to find a way to create each episode, the storytelling of it, forget the action, the storytelling of it had to feel as urgent as a movie, but had to have the depth to go 6 episodes like a serialized story. Once we got that right, the action was a no-brainer because the people we're working with are the people who do Marvel movies. They don't do nothing but that. And anything they touch is gonna be the highest level. You know what I'm saying? And when I got it's indescribable. When that first set piece, did they let you see an episode yet?
Episode one, I loved it. It started off really fast, and then how it bled into both of their stories and what I believe is setting them up for the rest of the series.
So what that first, like, that set piece, when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm involved with this, because these people are masters at what they do. So the action stuff, I knew they were going to knock that out the park. My job was to focus on the character stuff and to find a hybrid style of storytelling that felt both like a movie but went deep like a series.
So, and I think so far from what I've seen, you did a good job of that. So we know a little bit about the journey that Sam's going to go on. Talk to me a little bit about, he's always going to be Bucky in my heart, but talk to me about what to see over these 6 episodes, as much as you can share, in his development and kind of the trajectory for his character.
He was positioned perfectly because the fans know enough about him to know he's obviously a tortured person, right? But he's never had a minute to breathe. It's been one fight after the next fight for 90 years. You know what I'm saying? He's 106 years old. And so we knew when Bucky showed up to this project, if you start to think about these as real people, we know everything's about to slow down a bit, and he's going to have to confront himself in a way that he never has before. And we thought about all the people he must have killed when he was working for Hydra and they was messing with his head, plus all the stuff he dealt with as a soldier. And we picked a story for him that embodied all of that and forced him to confront it and fail or not. You know what I'm saying? And Sebastian, being the level of actor he is, you know what I'm saying? We already, you can see with no dialogue, you see what he can do. You know what I'm saying? Imagine creating characters that embody the worst things he's ever done, and now they're confronting him. You know what I'm saying? It was an intense journey we scoped out for him based on what the fans have already seen, but now he's got to confront it.
So this is a question for the lovers in the house. Will we see any romance for these characters potentially over the course of the series?
I don't think any of that is in a trailer, so I can't speak on that.
Okay. Okay. Um, what about not the who or the when, but are there surprise guests that viewers can look forward to? And
Yeah, and that was a blast. Um, um, and and if you're a Marvel fan, they don't have to do nothing. The second they walk on screen, you're like, oh man, that's the guy from the movies, and I'm seeing him right here. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and we use them all with purpose. You know, we use them all with purpose.
the experience of working with obviously Marvel is a huge entity as far as film and thing. And this is your first project with them. What was that like for you? How much freedom did you get? How much guidance did they give you through this process?
It's an intense learning curve, and once you embrace it, it's amazing, and it's not similar to anything else I've been through. So what happens at Marvel is they got all these projects going on, right? And they don't tell none of their creators what the other projects are or what's happening in them. They partner you with an exec. In my case, I got two because they're a team, Nate Moore and Zoe Nagelhu, right? And they partnered me with these execs, and the execs are an encyclopedia for everything that's going on. And you know, they're creative execs. You know, they're not suits. They've all they do is work on each exec. I think I'm allowed to say this, follows one project, which is unlike anything I've ever seen in Hollywood, right? Because so they're intimately involved with them and they believe in it the same way you do. But those execs are able to keep you from messing up any of the other stuff that's going on, because you don't know what it is, but you know it's out there. And for me to be sitting down with a person that, you know, is basically with the company that's paying my bills, it took a minute to get used to. At some point, you really do become a family, and it creates a unique experience that, you know, I'll remember forever. You know, it just was different.
And touching on family and in wrapping up, you and your wife, Michelle, have created 51 productions. Can you talk to me a little bit about that and what your goals are with that and touching the unexplored or untapped writers, and especially those that are people of color, Black women?
It is. So, you know, the mission statement is twofold. Number one, we want to take culture specific projects, obviously Black in particular, but anything that's culture forward, and present it to the world in the biggest way possible. Ideally, we will help create international stars who are people of color that end the myth that movie stars have to be white, right? And simultaneously, we work really hard to nurture up and coming Black writers in particular, but you know, Filipino, we got a Filipino dude who's working with us, whatever, Latino. And what we try and do is keep a connection to the community so we can grab people who aren't necessarily bound for Hollywood, meaning they're not going to college, definitely not going to fancy schools, but they're brilliant and could easily fall by the wayside because me and Michelle, neither one of us went through traditional means. Neither one of us went to college. We got here on some backwards hustling, You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we have a lot of stuff going on. We have several we have, 3 things going on the air this year. And we have a good relationship with HBO right now. I shouldn't be saying that. We're here to do good stuff.
Thank you so
My
much.
bad on that. No one asked me that question. Sorry, Marvel and Disney.